Well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to the farm. She's a beauty of a day here today. Smoking hot, 33 degrees Celsius. What better time to shut the water off to the farm? Yeah, we're going to do our annual shock chlorination of our water well today. So you've seen me do this before, probably, if you've Googled this video, but I'm actually going to do something a little bit different this year. Instead of using regular household bleach, which runs between 3 and 7% chlorine, I'm going to use pool chlorine. The reason why I'm going to choose pool chlorine over regular household bleach, purely economics. This stuff is $7.99 at Canadian Tire. A jug of Clorox, also $7.99 at Canadian Tire. But this has 10.8% chlorine in it. Or sodium hypochlorite. Much more potent. I need about half as much of it. And so then technically it's going to cost me half as much to shock chlorinate the well. Now it's important that you use a liquid solution as opposed to pellets or pucks because, well, for one thing, chlorine is heavier than water. So you're going to want to mix it with your water before you send it down your well. With the pucks, the pellets, anything like that, they're going to sink to the bottom. And sure, they will chlorinate the ever-living heck out of the bottom of your well. But the overwhelming majority of bacteria in your water well is going to be towards the upper end of the water column. So you want to make sure you absolutely chlorinate the whole thing. The other reason why it's really, really important to use liquid and it's mixed with water before you send it down the water well as opposed to the pellets or the pucks is that because overchlorination in the base of your well can cause damage to your downhole pump. It can cause damage to your well casing because it's very corrosive. So you want to mix it. So that's why we've got our 300 gallons of water here. Now, how do we determine this is the right amount of water? Well, it's important that you understand how deep your water well is, what your water static level sits at, because you're going to look to displace the static column of water in your well with your chlorinated, your diluted chlorine, your chlorinated water. You want to push that back down into the formation that your aquifer, that the water is coming from, and make sure that you have disinfected the entire well bore. Now, although we're going to be cleaning the well, we're going to make sure the well remains clean. So this trailer, yes, I washed it out this morning, but there's still a chance there might be a cobweb or a dead spider or something in there. So we're actually going to run the water through a filtration system. And we're going to be very, very cognizant of the wellbore cap. So we're going to remove the wellbore cap to put the hose in, and then we're just going to place the cap back on top to make sure no grasshoppers jump in there and taint up our water well. Now, removal of the cap, super easy. Usually just need either a flathead screwdriver or an Allen wrench. Ours is an Allen wrench. I'm just going to go get a set. 3 screws. We'll pop that right off and have a look inside. So this well casing cap here takes a 5/32 hex head or Allen screw. It's just a set screw that's in there, so we're not going to completely remove it. We're just going to loosen it simply because, well, if I take it right out, there's a really good chance I'm just going to lose it. I'm just going to go ahead, pop the cap off, and you can see there's a bunch of wires down there. Hello! Hello! So these are all the wires that run the actual pump. We got a spare one here. It's got no power to it, of course. I should probably take that off one day, but nothing goes to that one. But that cable runs all the way down to the bottom to a submersible pump. Now, what you don't see in here is our water line. Where's our water line? So 9 feet below ground, we have what's called a pitless adapter, and that keeps the water line beneath the frost line. So it connects beneath the frost line, and then it runs underground past the chicken house to the shop over there into our pump house. So I'm going to insert the garden hose just down below. I don't want to splash a bunch of water on these barrettes. Not that I think that's going to cause any damage or anything like that, hey? Yeah, no, electrical connections should be kept dry. So get your water hose down below the electrical connections themselves. Then I'm going to work on pre-mixing. So I'm going to mix our bleach solution in this water tank, and once that is done, we're going to pump that down the water well. Now, it's important that while you do this, you realize this is a chemical. It's dangerous. So put on some gloves, put on some goggles, make sure you don't splash anything on yourself or on your clothes. definitely don't get it in your mouth or your eyes. So we've got our chlorine solution mixed in with our tank. We are now sending it down the well bore. I'm just going to pop the cap back on, like I said, to make sure no grasshoppers, no moss, anything we don't want in the well ends up in the well. Doesn't have to be super secure, but just enough, like I said, to make sure, you know, sparrow doesn't end up there, bat or badger, fox, whatever you. Now, once I get my trailer empty, I'm going to come over here to the side of the house, to the hose bib here, and I'm going to run water out of our outside faucet until I can smell bleach. And then I'm going to close this in, and I'm going to every one of the other outlets in the house, in the shop, run it until I can smell bleach, with exception of course, our filtered water in the fridge. There's just not enough volume there to get that through. But we're going to do everywhere else, and then we're going to shut it off. Now, before you do this, you're going to want to fill your bathtub with water, because that chlorinated water that you push down your well is going to have to sit there for 24 to 48 hours. You're probably going to have to go to the bathroom within 24 to 48 hours. You're not going to want to dump super chlorinated water out through your toilet into your septic system, are you? Because it's going to kill all the beneficial bacteria in there. It's going to be really harmful for your septic system. So fill your bathtub, put a bucket in there. You can flush, fill your back tank or whatever with your 5-gallon bucket. Also fill up some water pitchers, some 5-gallon jugs, so you've got lots of drinking water available. If you're running livestock, make sure your waters are shut off and they have access to fresh water via dugouts or some other water source. All right, so it's now the next day. We're going to go ahead and pump our well clean. So we're going to open the outside faucet, and we're just going to let it run out onto the lawn. Find a spot on the lawn that you don't really care about, because it is going to have quite a lot of chlorine in it. I'm not going to say it's going to kill the grass, but I'm certainly not going to say it's good for the grass either. You want to get that flush clean, and it might take 30 minutes. It might take almost a full day. It really depends how much you put down your well. So just every half hour or so, just go to the end of the garden hose, smell for chlorine. If you can smell chlorine, your water is still not safe to drink. So flush it until it has no chlorine odor left. And then you can move inside your home and start flushing toilets, running faucets, and doing the same thing. Once you've got no odor or chlorine left, you're good to go ahead and use the water for, routine uses. But let it just sit for another day. Let it flow for another day through your natural use of your inside faucets and everything until you go ahead and drink that water. Alternately, you can get a chlorine tester. Some hardware stores sell them. Canadian Tire does sell them. They're actually in the swimming pool section, believe it or not. And you want to get your water below 0.5 ppm of chlorine. And you can go through the whole test procedure. It'll have instructions on exactly how to perform that test. Now, of course, really important, put your well cap back on. Make sure that is secure. Make sure it's retightened up. And no bugs, no birds, nothing can get back in there. In a couple weeks, take a water sample. Send it in. Get it tested. See if there's any harmful bacteria still in your well. You may need to reshock your well. You shouldn't have to. But if something went wrong, you're not going to want to assume that your water is safe. It's better to just test and know for sure. Anyways, I hope you found the video useful. And I'm going to go cook up some bacon. So I'll let you go for now. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow.